Okay, looks like it's started.
Yep. Okay, we're in ARTchat 2021. Laurie SKANTZOS from Guelph, Canada, and this is our first kind of interactive presentation, interactive session, whatnot for the day, for the semester. Right.
All right. Sounds good. So, hello everybody. First off, it looks like you guys are ready to go, so that's good. I like to do a bit of I'll just explain a bit about what I do and who I am first, and then I'm going to get you guys going on this because it looks like you're raring to go. Did you have a chance to look at my work? Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. So what I'm going to be showing you today isn't really it won't look like what you saw of my work, but it's a procedure that I've used in the past and still do just to kind of loosen up. So I'm an abstract painter. I recently, meaning in the last, I'd say 3 years, started working more sculpturally. And in the past, just over COVID, actually, that's all I've been doing is working on those little wall sculptures. So they're actually quite minimal and there's not a lot of mark making with those. But the way I kind of started my journey was just making marks and learning how to kind of respond to what's there. So does anyone have, just a show of hands, does anyone have like when you think about abstract art, do you have a bit of a problem figuring it out at all? Just a show of hands. No?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I mean, sometimes people, it's like, well, what is it? Or I don't really understand it. Or how did you get there? So at least I felt like that when I first saw abstract art, like years ago. I was like, well, I don't understand it. It doesn't look like anything. How do you even come up with something like that? So a really great way is just, it's almost like stream of consciousness writing in a way. But this is like almost stream of consciousness mark making. So I'll just show you some of the things that I've got here. Just a second. So I'm going to be using my laptop. It's not perfect, but so I've got some markers, like some Copic markers, some pastels, some pencil crayons, and then I've got various mark making tools. So I've got, this is something that I really like using. It's a bowl scraper. It's a silicone kitchen tool. This is something that you can get from an art supply store. Again, it's a silicone tool. And these are just, I think this is from the hardware store for grouting or something like that. So hardware store is a great place to look around for different things to make marks. And then things like corrugated cardboard, which I don't have right now, but I've got this really cool piece of cardboard. It looks kind of like a netting or beehive or something like that. Someone gave it to me. And I've got this is a little piece of cardboard as well. So, oh, and these things are, like you probably have dollar stores down there too. There's stuff called shelf liner for your cabinets. And this is just like rubbery stuff. It's covered with paint, but it's really great for making marks. And I know you guys aren't going to have all this stuff where you are, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea of some of the things that I use. And then I've also, in my painting and even in the wall sculptures, I use some stencils. So these are just a couple of examples that I happen to have. And this is a shape I really like. So stencils, and then I think I heard that you guys made some stamps. So I've also got this rubbery stuff that I made stamps out of. And like a squirt bottle, water squirt bottle. And of course, I've even got brushes. So brushes, which I don't use very often. But and also, by the way, shoot out any questions if you have them. Like, don't be shy. I kind of like responding to people just like throwing out questions to me instead of doing a monologue.
So I just gave them some kind of cardstock paper, so that they can, just so you know, if they, and I have some scissors if they want to make a stencil.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so but you have like the full sheet of paper on the two tables that you guys are going to be using, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to get you guys, actually, I'll just do a bit of a demo first. Let me see if you can see me here. So I put my paper on the wall. I thought it would be easier for you guys to see. Think you can see?
Good call.
Yeah, okay. This is my first time doing a like online kind of demo, so we'll see how it goes. Basically, I'm just going to start making some marks on this paper. I'm not going to think about it too much. I don't really care if it looks like anything. A lot of times people have like a natural way of making a mark. It's just natural to you. And this is a really good way to discover what it is. So I'm just starting with just a regular piece of charcoal. Of course, I'm just going to do, because it's easy for me, I'm standing up, so I have like this nice range of motion. But you can do that while you're working flat as well. And you might want to move some of your papers off of your table. Just kind of maybe put them to the side so that you can actually use that big piece of paper to start making some marks. So I'm just going to just start making marks like this. And of course, I can use like the edge of the charcoal. I'm just not really thinking about anything too much. Light line, thick line, you know. It's great to just make lines and marks. So that's just with a piece of charcoal. Feel free to do this yourself. Go ahead and do that with whatever you fancy. And this is a chalk pastel. So I'm starting off with the dry medium. And just again, I really love this sort of coral pink against black, but I wasn't overthinking it. I just grabbed the color. And then I've got some pencil crayons as well. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I'll see what I can do. I'm just kind of outlining those marks that I made before. Just something I feel like doing. I'm not overthinking it. Some good stuff going on there.
Yeah, we're moving, we're doing good.
Excellent. So does everybody have like a kind of a, yeah, you guys are making some marks there. That's good. So I'm going to get you to stop right where you are. Okay. And just take a look at what you've got, like no judgment or anything. And what I want you to do now is you're going to move clockwise around your table and go to the next spot.
That's so fast. I don't know what clockwise is.
Oh, I didn't think.
Well,
we did next time we'll do block.
Okay. So now, before you get going, how does it feel to be in a different spot? Do you feel a little strange about that, or it's okay?
They didn't like it. That's good.
Okay, yeah. So this is what kind of comes up. Sometimes, you know, you're making marks and they're your marks and you kind of like what you're doing, or maybe you don't like what you're doing. But now, like one of the things that with one way you can approach an abstract painting is to respond to what's there. So sometimes we get in the habit of making our own marks and doodling and whatever, and it kind of goes in a predictable way. But now you're faced with somebody else's marks, and you have to figure out how you're going to respond to them and what kind of marks you want to make. And you can cover it up completely. You can enhance it. You can be inspired by what's there, whatever you feel like. So go ahead, start making some marks. Just respond to what you have in front of you.
Okay.
If you notice that maybe the other person used some colors that you're not really comfortable with, it's good to explore that too. Is that starting to feel a little more comfortable now? Yeah.
Yes.
Moose.
Okay, and now I'm going to get you to stop again. And just take a look at it. You can sort of look at what everybody's been doing and see kind of what's going on. No judgments or anything. And again, you're going to move one spot over. So I think I said clockwise. Did I say clockwise? Yeah. So now you're going to be responding to another image and color and palette. And another thing too, it's kind of hard for me to see, but use the whole paper. Like I think what you're doing is you're just using a little area in front of you, but feel free to even overlap onto your neighbor's side. There we go, that's good. Yeah, then you're getting your whole body into it, your whole arm into it. Yeah, actually, this is really great to do to music.
Coming right up.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, where's that hot pink?
Under the blanket.
And I'm going to get you guys to stop again and move one more spot over. So I think you'll be, at this point, you should be at the spot before your initial mark making. Is that right?
Okay.
Okay. And again, respond to what you've got there. You can cover it up. You can enhance it. And we're also going to be painting. So we're going to be bringing some paint into this after a bit.
Apologies. Where's that
Oh, thank you. Hey, that's mine. I know.
Looking good from what I can see. Remember, a line could be jagged, it could be dotted, it could be sharp, it could be a thick line.
I'm going to take you off of. I'm going to take you around so you can see what they're doing.
Oh yeah, I'd love that. That's great. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
I love how you're using the whole paper. Excellent.
Okay.
Those are some great marks. Thank you for the tour. Okay, now I'm gonna throw another wrench into this. So just stop for a second. Take a look at what you guys created on your table. And I'm gonna get you guys to actually switch tables. So you're gonna be, so you four go to the other table, the other, I think 4, come to this table. So you're really letting go of your marks that you've already made, and you've got something completely different to respond to here. So just choose a color Start making some marks.
Have you?
Yeah, using your hands, that's great. And then you can use all that whatever's on your hands and make handprints if you want to. Oh, perfect. So just letting yourself go with this. If you like the music, you can kind of let that move through you as in your mark making as well. Okay, and I'm going to get you to stop again because I want you guys to get that paint out. So do you have little palettes or what's the setup for that?
No, but I can get some.
Well,
I just have these.
Oh, perfect. Those are like squirt bottles. Excellent. That's what I've got too. So
Okay, good.
I've got squirt bottles too. So, okay. Actually, you might as well move one spot over again, wherever you are, like on your table. So move one spot over to be in the next spot. Or even find a whole different spot. That's fine. And then choose some paint. Now, to apply the paint, what kind of tools do you guys have for that? Do you have little cards or sticks or?
They got some cereals, some balls, some brushes, an orange.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, some sponge brushes that they cut.
Okay, so why don't you choose whatever kind of tools you want to use? And of course, and I'm just going to do, actually just watch here for a second, right after you do that. Okay, so I'm just going to, this will be a bit different because I'm working vertically, but I'm just going to squirt some paint on this paper. I hope this thing's not clogged. I think it is actually. Just a second.
I'll shake. Yeah, lightly shake.
I have to find a nail. Just a minute.
Okay.
See if this works. Oh yeah, there we go. So, okay, we just squirted some green paint on here. I'm gonna squirt a bit of this paint too, if I can unclog it. Here we go.
Hey, hey.
That's the yellow.
Okay, so I'm gonna use well, this is like a brayer. I don't know if you guys have any rollers or anything like that. But one way you can use this, I've got the paint on there, and I'm just going to. Oh, I'm gonna roll it now. Let's roll it right over top of what I've got going on here. And I'm mixing the colors with this tool instead of on a palette. I can also use one of these guys and move it around this way, or I can remove paint too. Paint is really great to kind of obliterate what you've got underneath there. But you can use, if you want to get some scratch back into it, you can use like this is just a shish kebab skewer. You'll find that you can kind of bring back some of the stuff that's underneath if you sort of scratch into it with something. So all of the marks that are underneath your paint are not necessarily completely obliterated.
My room. Like, where am I gonna hang this? Am I gonna hang it in here?
You should.
I should. Or somewhere.
Because we're much better than my name.
Or maybe it could be like a temporary exhibit in the library annex.
Oh, yeah.
That might be pretty cool to see, you know?
Okay, and I'm gonna get you guys to move again, one more spot over.
That's okay.
And then start making some marks again. Respond to what you've got in front of you.
I know, I was just anyway. Found the shoe.
Here's my own.
Is anybody using their stamps that they carved out?
Yes.
Okay, if not, then grab it and give it a try. A lot of times you can press it right into the surface, the painted surface, and lift the paint, and then see if you can like lift it and then put it somewhere else. I'll see if I can do that with this. I don't know if it'll work. Yeah.
They're really cool.
Yeah. That didn't work that well, but that's okay. I haven't worked with acrylic paint for a very long time. I'm just putting some paint on my stamp here with the roller. Let's see.
Sure. Yeah. And if she's here.
Hey, Robbie, can you take me for another tour?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Plug you. All right.
Let's see what they've got going on with the paint. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting a little clear in some areas, muddy in others, but expressive nonetheless.
Definitely expressive. Oh, yeah. That's great. How does it feel making a...
Whose shoe is that?
That's my old shoe.
Your old shoe. You
Yes.
brought your old shoe as a stamp? They're
Oh.
committed.
Shoe, that's good. I like it.
Actually, yeah, I would leave you over here, but then we can't hear you very well.
Oh, okay.
Don't mess up those circles in the middle. I guess you're not messing up anything. I'm sorry. Let's leave those circles clear.
So it's kind of like, okay, so even if there's a spot that you like and you want to keep it, then
Yeah.
what you can do is just sort of mask it. So you can get a piece of paper, cut out a shape if you want, or rip out a shape, and then put it on top of the spot that you want to kind of preserve, and then paint around it. That's one thing you can do.
Okay.
If you
So,
want.
gang, if there is a spot that you particularly enjoy, grab one of those cardstock boards that I gave you and like protect.
Yeah.
For example, I want to protect that. Okay.
And then you can cut it into shape. You can have it into square.
Say that again, Lauren.
You can also cut it into a shape or something.
Oh, the yes. Cut. All right. You got scissors. I'll get the blades. Where are the? Here they are. Okay. Yeah, I think. Okay, so. Oh, that's looking good. Now, yeah, leave it. I think we've got. Okay, Laurie, is there? I think we're at a point where the paper is getting quite saturated.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So it might be a good place to stop and
Yep.
just let it kind of dry a little bit.
Stop, Aiden. I know. You had to finish the circle. And so, is there a? Is this where we might? I mean, I know there's no rules, Laurie. I'm just following along. Where we potentially take the stencils, some other pieces of newsprint where we can actually lay it down over the top and save some spots.
Yeah. So
Mess it up.
okay. So I have a painting here. I just wanted to show you. So there was like a big. I call it like a big expressive mess, basically underneath this painting. And can you see that? Okay, I can move it up a bit, maybe. Just a sec. That's better. Oops. Okay. So all of this right here is underpainting, lots of layers of underpainting. And it's with, I use oil and it's on a panel. So it's a little different because paper is a little more fragile, of course, but with a wooden panel, like it's very sturdy and I can put a lot of layers on. And then I use a tool like this to, it's just a pottery tool. And once the paint is semi-dry or even dry, I scrape a lot of it off. So that was what was going on under here. And then just to sort of bring some order to the chaos, I cut out some shapes. So like this shape here, this one, one here, and one here. And I just basically laid them down, and I used, I think, I just used like newsprint or something. And then I painted everything else this sort of acid green. So right away, it gave me this sort of a shape and something to focus on. And so yeah, a lot of times, like instead of just having a very chaotic painting, which it can be also very cool, I like to sort of hone it in and just bring some focus. So, and then the nice thing is, once I painted it, then I was able to go back in and like work on top of that. So if you start thinking about just like layering and excavating, like with tools such as this one, it's a lot easier to do with oil and wax than acrylic, but something to think about. If you work quickly, you can still do it with acrylic.
Well, and I think I'm not going to take these. I'm going to leave these on the table.
Yeah.
Let them dry.
Yeah.
We're going to revisit these. Was that it? Oh no. Yeah, not that we have to stop working on them now, but we can definitely revisit them and add some layers.
For sure. Yeah.
Saturate.
How did everybody like that exercise?
That was lots of fun.
So it's just, it's kind of nice sometimes to have no rules. I know there are rules in art, of course, that I'm sure you're learning about, but it's kind of nice to just let loose every once in a while. And then what you have now, once it's dry, you can either do that masking thing that I was just talking about, or you can even cut up the paper that you have and then like reconfigure it or add it to something else, like as a collage. So it's sort of like anything goes. And I like that you've got like it's a group painting basically. So the whole class has contributed to what you've got going on there. Do you guys have any questions about this? No?
But we do have some questions about your work.
Oh, good. Okay.
Not the paintings, but the
The sculpture?
wall objects.
Yeah.
If you would be up for that.
Absolutely.
All right. So.
Do you want to know how I came to start making those?
Yes.
Okay, because that's kind of an interesting story. So, all right. So in my paintings, as I've said, I've used a lot of stencils and things like that. So like this one doesn't have a lot of paint on it, but what would happen is all of the papers that I was using, they would get this paint residue on them. So they became like little artifacts, and I really loved how they looked. And then I found myself, I had a different studio at the time, but I had them strewn all over the floor. And I was working on some paintings, but my attention kept being drawn to the floor where they were all strewn about. So, and I started finding little compositions, like just happenstance ones, and I started photographing them on the floor. And then I started taking the paint encrusted templates and just making assemblages basically. So I have one I can show you. I don't have many of these left, but this is let's see if you can see that. So can you actually see there's one of those stencils like this one. I just really like that shape. So if I get it, I don't know, can you see close up? So all of the there's some stitching in this, and there's some staples and several different templates that I had previously used in my painting. And then, yeah, so that's stepping back from it. It's mounted on plywood. And so when I was
Is it hollow backed?
yeah, just because it's really heavy otherwise, right?
Yeah,
So
well, you were moving it around as if it were very light, and if that was thick plywood, I was going to be mighty impressed. That's good.
I'm very strong. Yeah, so it is hollowed out.
Yeah.
But, it still has some heft to it.
Sure, of course. I'm still impressed.
Anyway, so basically it was just process of elimination. Like I didn't want to deal with shadow box frames and glass and things like that. So I think a lot of decisions that many artists I know make and that I make are practical. So like not always, but this was like a practical decision, and it was kind of like, well, how else can I display these assemblages? So I had the idea to mount them on plywood, and then the staples, which I actually really like as a feature, like as an element. I was first I glued them down, but I thought for good measure I'd staple gun the pieces, and then I really liked the staple. So I have like stitching and staples, and they're sort of a similar kind of a shape. And I just really enjoy that kind of play on the same size of an element. So anyway, that's how I started to make objects instead of like moving away from the traditional square painting or the rectangular painting. And then it was just an evolution from there. So I decided I want to paint directly on the wood. So I was making shapes that I was using in my paintings, like organic shapes, and just like making them a piece of plywood. And I'll show you. So this is another one. This is an earlier one. And you'll note, like a lot of my paintings did have these stripes, and they started out with actually drips. I thought it would be interesting to make a template or a stencil out of drips, because usually drips are spontaneous, even though they're not always. So I thought I would just sort of regiment the drips, but then that got me into doing a lot of stripy things. And this is just, as you can see, it's a piece of plywood. This one is solid because it's not that heavy, but I started making these, and then I wanted them to look like they were floating off the wall. So I had the idea to bevel the side. And I'll show you another one. So this is one now that is, you can see the sides are beveled.
Yeah.
So that was purely just so they would appear to be floating. And then I had the idea that I would love, like I love reflections and shadows. So then I tried, and I was a little bit afraid to paint the edge because the wood is actually quite beautiful. But I always leave like a little sliver of the wood on the side. And I thought, oh, I'm going to paint fluorescent color and have it reflect off the wall. So that's kind of how it all evolved. And this is basically what I'm doing now. So
let's go back to, I mean, that's a very, it's a direct lineage that you just showed us, going from the floor and then the progression and the angle and stuff, because I mean, that's what I enjoy is the recognition of that glow, but also, you know, the way you're putting the way you have it centralized, that is, it looks like you're going into this portal, and then you exit through the back with this light, you know, if you will.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
But when you did the stitching on the first ones, I assume you did the stitching first.
Yes.
How did you recognize it? And then, so how did you adhere? Is there an adhesion outside of the staples? Yes.
Yeah, just glue. So I mean, it is oil and wax, right? So if it was acrylic, it would be less worrisome as far as if it was going to stick.
Yeah.
But with the oil and wax, I thought, even when I was assembling the pieces, I didn't really know what to use to keep them together. So that's where the stitching came in. Again, that was a kind of a practical thing. But and then once they're all together, and then on the wood, I did put some glue, but you know, I don't know if it's going to last really because of the oil and wax. So then I thought, I'll staple. Yeah. And now I think they're probably not going to move.
Yeah. So, well, can you like the piece behind you over your right shoulder, and then the last one that you showed, the white, the kind of off white. Yeah. What is it? Those obviously weren't remnants from your studio floor that were then stitched together. So what's the process of getting that surface? Oh, okay. So I'm using again, I'm using masks or templates. So I start off with the shape. Like I decide what shape I want, and most of them are pretty organic looking. And then I use this, where is it? I mix the oil and wax, and then I actually use this kind of a tool. So I mix up the paint, and I basically just bring the paint across the surface. I squeegee it on. Okay. And, so I'll do several layers at the beginning. I don't really plan things out as far as little color swatches or studies. So a lot of it is whatever mood I'm in. Like really, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to play with this color today, and then I will put another color on, and sometimes it won't work, and that's fine. I don't mind. Yeah. But I'll show you some of the template things that I have. Yeah. Yeah. So this is just cheap newsprint. So here you go. So on a shape like this one here. Yeah. I would put, I can't remember what, now it looks like I would have put this pink first. I don't think I did. I can't remember now, but so I'll have like a solid color all over the whole thing. And then what I might do is put something like this over top, like a mask, right? And then I would paint the next layer. And then I would get like a larger size one, and then I'd paint the next layer. So what happens is
because it's oil and wax, it's not drying very quickly. And so I'll get some lift. I'll still get some lift when I put the paper on there.
Uh-huh.
And then that often just does surprising things that I enjoy. So, and it also kind of, now this one has a very smooth surface. So if you can see that shine, a little bit of a shine.
Yeah.
That's also from the wax. So I buff it afterwards. I put a final layer of just clear wax and let it dry, and then I buff it. But the process is, and okay, I think if I do a close-up of that one, can you kind of see those lines, those thin lines?
Yes.
Those were previous colors that I had on here that I didn't like. So I covered over it. But then the nice thing is they make like a little bit of a ridge, and wherever that little scrapey tool went, I can't find it. Then if I just lightly sort of run that over the surface, it just picks up the edges. And so I get these lines. So it's like it's still a process of discovery while I'm making these, even though they look, perhaps they might look like they're a little more planned than my paintings, but they're still like not really planned.
I think a good appropriate pun there, or good word, with it, they seem very polished.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so too. Like as far as like relative to my other work.
Sure.
And it was also very kind of therapeutic for me, I guess, in a way, working on these over the past, like through COVID, because I found myself that I was being kind of expansive when I was doing the painting on the wall.
Uh-huh.
And my paintings are typically quite large, so like even full body size, but I wasn't feeling that at all. I was feeling like this, like everybody else. So, I mean, I didn't even paint probably for 4 months, but I had already began working on these before, and then I just kind of came back to them, and I found them to be very just, they helped me kind of settle myself and focus, and working on a small area that was manageable for me. So yeah, that's.
Well, Laurie, I think you don't know, we a year ago had 2 hurricanes come through here in 6 weeks and destroy our campus.
Oh.
We're on a temporary campus now, we essentially are in a trailer park of classrooms. So this is our second year in this scenario with our destroyed campus behind us, and but my point of that is that you keep talking about, you know, having something to focus in front of you and to take your mind off of what COVID or did it. And these, like this, they have not stopped working on this collage here.
Yay, that's great.
I think you have given them a wonderful, colorful escape.
Oh,
That
I'm really happy to hear that.
I don't know that we knew that we needed it.
Okay, well that's great. I'm really happy to hear that, and
Yes.
I'm happy to see you guys still working on them too, because really you can get lost in it. Like, it offers so many potentials. And
Yes. What? Which 44? 45. Okay. Hey, Aiden, what was your question about the floor?
About the sculptures?
Yeah.
I was just wondering, so do you hang them on the wall, or like would you just
Yeah.
put them on the ground?
No, I hang them on the wall. So I'll just show you the back. It's got a little eye hole, or keyhole, I should say. So it just hangs on the wall with a screw, and then like can you see this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one here is just, it's a larger one, but it's just on, like, this is actually on a nail. But it's got like a little keyhole. Wait. I'm not gonna hang this back up because I have to fiddle with it, but this is a larger size one.
Uh-huh.
And they also, these got more minimal kind of as I went along as well.
Yeah.
So I think that often happens.
And I think that's quite beautiful. The minimal versus the green glow on the back is just
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I could also show you this one. So this is a new thing I'm experimenting with. So can you see how it's right? But instead of a flat surface, it's So that's kind of a new thing I'm working on, and that's the beauty of it. Again, it's like you just, as you work, more ideas come from the process.
We have a question. We're running out of time, but we have a question that I want to get in here.
Okay.
Do you cut your own wood?
No, I don't. That's a good question. So I don't have I wish I did. It would be like really badass, but I have a friend who is a carpenter. So I give him a template and then he cuts what I want.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, may I take a picture of the kids around you? Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Over there. And I love doing these art chats, but the ends are always so abrupt. So just now, I'll continue to be in touch. Thank you so very much for doing this. I don't think you recognize how I don't think anybody recognizes how helpful this is going to be to us. And we're gonna continue to work on this and then display it when we get to our new campus.
Okay, great. I'm happy to hear that.
1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're good.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I will share the video. I'll post it up there and
Okay, great.
in touch and continue to show you the progress. And sincerely, thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure. It was fun.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, Mr. Rabbit, can I leave this address?